All right, since I quirked Hawaii's chat, we are now live. So continue.
Just for the record, first thing, Boos is an asshole.
Damn straight.
Well, I'm glad that's on the record, but let's make sure that the transcriptionists can read that one back. With all the legal talk that was going on in Yankees Left the Center about who can violate rights, I asked Eric Friday, East Florida Carries lead counsel, to hop in and give us a little bit of legal education on what can and cannot be done by both state and private actors when it comes to violating or upholding people's rights. So, Yankee, you were talking about that quite a bit. What's your position, and I think there was an opposing position on your chat as far as, and this came about, I think, because of Florida gun supply.
Having owned businesses and having multiple attorneys of my own, when I owned them, I can tell you there are lots of things you cannot do. That whole thing that the business has a right to discriminate against anyone for any reason is bullshit. It's not the law. It doesn't have any validity in the law. If you violate someone's constitutional rights, you can be taken to task for it. Now, whether you can be taken to, it's a big national court thing, that's different. You can be held legally responsible, you can be held all these other things, but generally for it to be a big deal, like say the sweet cakes things, etc., something else has to happen, or that the person that's being harmed has to prove damages, they have to prove that they're actually being harmed, that they actually aren't able to engage in society and perform the ways that other people would because of your individual actions. So,
and I think you're generally right, and based on some things that you said in the other place, I think you're right for a couple of the wrong reasons, and I hope Eric can help clear that up.
The first thing you got to distinguish is between private actors and state actors. So a state actor, which would be either a governmental entity or somebody acting on behalf of a governmental entity, a state actor has to give equal protection. A state actor cannot discriminate against somebody.
You want to hear him?
It's a little bit choppy for me.
Yeah. Eric, your audio is a little low, man.
All right, is this better?
Nope.
Is that any better? Okay.
That's worse.
I'll tell you what, guys. Y'all chat. I'll be right back with y'all.
I can see his face moving, but I can't. I mean, I can see his little icon there, but I can't hear it.
It was pretty low. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going for a bigger microphone.
Okay. Yeah, that'll do it. Bigger microphone. Well, someone talk.
All right. Well, while he's waiting, let's just all just point out how wrong Yankee is and how right everyone else is, just so we can just kind of move on from there.
Yeah, believe it or not, Yankee was basically right. Like
Yeah, I'm wrong.
Just for the wrong reason.
Holy shit. What the fuck is that?
I don't know. I'm just trying to mute people because I don't know what the hell that is.
Who was that?
Somebody was just rubbing a microphone. But to be fair, Yankee is 100% correct in communist Russia.
Well, I'm not saying it. Now here's the thing. When we were talking in the last chat, I wasn't saying that what he's saying isn't correct as far as how that is how the laws are. That is how the laws are. I'm just saying I don't agree with those laws. You know what I mean? Like I don't think that should necessarily be how things are. And but that's I mean I think we can all agree that for the most part the laws fall that way. That you cannot discriminate for any reason if you are a business. I mean if you do, somebody's going to jump down on your ass. Maybe it'll be a lawsuit, a private lawsuit. Maybe it'll be from your county, from your state. Maybe it'll be from the federal government. Who knows?
Well, believe it or not, there are actually certain types of permissible discrimination.
Yeah, there's things you can discriminate against.
But they can't be based on certain things which constitute protected classes, that being race, religion, and sex, and gender.
Things that are you cannot, and the reason you can't discriminate against those things is because the Supreme Court, has declared that everyone has a right to the same freedoms, and when you start discriminating against people, they don't have those freedoms. That's where the government gets involved.
Right, and a lot of this came about after the 14th Amendment because, well, they were saying, black people can't shop at the local store.
Yep. So therefore, they don't have the same constitutional rights as a white person, or constitutional protections as a white person.
You are not muted. You were muted for a moment, but you can unmute anytime by clicking the little mute.
Yeah, we were just going through muting people just to see who was making the noise, but you can unmute yourself. Just click the icon at the top.
Yeah, just click the little microphone.
And then please feel free to jump in. I was just mentioning the side that it's a lobby and everything, but just protocol is not talk and jump out so that other people can tell Yankee how wrong he is.
Turn your camera off.
Yeah, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we got you.
And see ya.
Oh, you can see me too?
Yeah, that's what we
No.
said.
Apparently, oh, there he is.
Off the camera.
No, we can see your logo with a horse and a guy.
No, we're talking about the Eric guy. We can see him, so he needs to either put on turn off his camera because we have a dress code. Yeah.
All right. What I was trying to say with the horrible connection a while ago, when you're talking about constitutional issues and discrimination, you first have to decide whether you're talking about a state actor or a private actor. If you're talking about a state actor, the state has to comply with all due process requirements and has to comply with equal protection rules. In other words, they have to treat similarly situated people similarly. They can't discriminate against one similarly situated person versus another. When you start talking about private actors, like, for example, Florida Gun Supply, the question is no longer equal protection. It has to do with discriminating against a protected class on a prohibited basis. So, in the case of what are protected classes are things based on religion, race, gender, are generally the big three. Sometimes there can be others. Obviously the courts are starting to look at sexual orientation as a protected class. At least that's the indication we're getting from the bakery case and some of the other wedding photographers and stuff.
Wait. I will stop you right there. With the bakery case, did you read that court case?
No, I have not.
Read that before you say that, because it's got nothing to do with sexual orientation as a protected class.
What was the basis there? And I apologize.
Because these people went to this bakery. They said, make us a cake. They said no. Then the lesbians, and I shouldn't say lesbians, I guess I should say the ladies, got on social media and said, hey, these people are assholes, don't do business with them. The people that were the assholes saw a big decrease in their business, so they went on social media, posted all the private information for the two ladies, the lesbian couple, posted their home address, their phone number, and then encouraged people to harass them.
I will admit I have not been following the sexual orientation cases very closely.
Doesn't that have a lot to do with gun rights?
Well, there is that argument. I'm not sure how accurate that is.
It does not. That's why I'm kind of saying that makes sense that you wouldn't be following that. It doesn't have anything to do with gun rights.
Well,
But there is a mantra that we've had for quite a while, and that is with some things with gun rights. Actually, I think the gays will lead the way, and there's a few legal reasons for that we might get into later.
But the biggest thing you've got to be careful about is when you use the term equal protection, you're talking about a state actor always. If you're not talking about a state actor, there's no equal protection problem. It's a process problem. When you're talking about private actors, you talk about suspect classes and suspect classifications and protected classes.
Well, yeah, it's great as classifications, but still, even as a private business, you're still bound by laws of anti-discrimination.
Well, correct, but those laws are based not on equal protection; they're based on suspect classifications and protected classes.
Yeah, and the reason those classes are protected is because they are guaranteed the same constitutional protections as everyone else. So I'm not understanding where he said that I was wrong in what I said.
I didn't hear your statement earlier, so I wasn't saying anybody was wrong.
Like I said, you were talking about it being because of equal protection, and that's not quite the answer. It's not an equal protection question. It's a question of protected class.
Well, if you're wanting to turn, well, that's just plain semantics in legal terms. If you're protecting people equally under the Constitution, if everyone's denied equal protection under the Constitution, you can still say that's equal protection. It just may not fall under the classification for a textbook.
But here's a great example. Recently, the Court of Appeals in Texas said that 18 to under 21-year-olds can't get concealed carry licenses. Why? Because they were a suspect class. Because 18 to 20-year-olds commit more crimes. So we can deny them of that right to carry. So they didn't get equal protection because they decided they were a suspect class.
But it's already stated that they don't get equal protection because there's already court precedent that says it is okay to discriminate for 18 to 21-year-olds.
Well, what court precedent is that?
Well, there's all kinds of precedences on that. The courts have upheld not having driver's license for people under the age of 16. Courts have upheld drinking laws multiple times because people.
Hold on. No federal court has ever upheld the ban on drinking ages. And what the courts have upheld in that context is that the federal government can condition the receipt of funds from the government on a state having a particular law.
And also, there's been cases that the Supreme Court has refused to hear because the states, on their level, state that they can discriminate based on drinking between the age of 18 and 21.
It's a privilege.
Exactly. So they are saying that is not an equal rights issue because no one has that right from 18 to 21.
No one has that right, period.
Yeah.
You don't have the right to drink.
Well, actually, that could be suspect too. You remember when we overturned, when we had to do prohibition, it required a constitutional amendment because up until then, people did have the right to drink.
No, that's not correct.
You don't think there was a constitutional amendment for prohibition?
No, the reason for the constitutional amendment for prohibition was to make it a constitutional requirement that nobody could sell alcohol. It wasn't that anybody had the right to drink previously.
Well, why would it have been needed to be a constitutional amendment if it could have just been a federal law? It had to be a constitutional amendment because it would not have withstood federal scrutiny otherwise.
Because the people who were opposed to drinking wanted something that strong.
And why they wanted it that strong, even according to I forget his fucking name now, the guy that was one of the leaders of the prohibition movement. They wanted the constitutional amendment because they knew a federal law would not withstand court scrutiny on a federal rights level. So they wanted the constitutional amendment.
Well, if that's the argument, then we would have to have a constitutional amendment to ban weed too.
Well, we don't have a constitutional amendment to ban weed. It's a federal law. That's why they're worried now that it's going to fall, because it's a federal law. It's not a constitutional amendment. So no, your argument doesn't make sense there. The saying constitution that weed is, if we had to have a constitutional amendment for weed, if we wanted to make it illegal, we would require a constitutional amendment if we wanted to keep it illegal, because I think the anti-marijuana laws are starting to not be supported by rule of law or case law, so they're going to fall.
So are you saying that you have a constitutional right or a natural right or whatever, you have a right to do heroin?
I'm not saying someone does or doesn't, but I'm saying the laws against it will not withstand court scrutiny for long. Just like they knew when they passed prohibition that, hey, if we just make this a federal law, they flat out came out and said, if we just make it a federal law, it'll get overturned in the courts.
If drinking was that much of a right and was that much of a right that people had, we wouldn't have dry counties anymore either.
We don't have very many dry counties, and dry counties
wouldn't have any.
In fact, Iuka, Mississippi was one of the last dry counties, and they just lost their dry county because of a court case where the court that oversees Alabama stated, nope, it's not constitutional. That person was being damaged by it.
So 75% of Arkansas is still dry.
Yeah, there's a lot of dry counties still.
I'm sorry, I have never seen a single court case that held a constitutional right to drink, a constitutional right to do any drug, or a constitutional right for any of this type of stuff you're talking about, Yankee.
Well, look up the court, Tishomingo County, Alabama.
I'm sorry, what county, Alabama?
Tishomingo.
Marengo County, Alabama?
Tishomingo. I'll email you it later.
Okay. Well, Tishomingo is not a county in Alabama, I can promise you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I meant Mississippi, not Alabama.
Okay. I'm going to say, by the way, Eric's also admitted to the bar in Alabama. If you can't tell by the accent, he's from there.
All right, Tishomingo County, Mississippi. Y'all go ahead and talk. I'm going to look this up.
But the reason that they put the constitutional amendment for prohibition is because their great fear that it would not withstand constitutional scrutiny if it was just a law. So therefore, they went to the extreme of the constitutional amendment. That's why
Tishomingo County was based on a ballot initiative, Yankee.
Yeah, but which way? Tishomingo was?
Yeah, it's a ballot initiative, which is how every single dry county's fallen. It's been based on the vote of the people, not on any constitutional court case for a right.
Well, but if it went to a constitutional court case, what do you think would be the ruling on it?
That it's perfectly acceptable for any county, city, state, or anybody else that wants to ban alcohol.
Yeah, we can do the evils of society that we, and there's not a constitutional right to do so. We can ban this.
Yeah, but if you Tishomingo County, when we lived there, Tishomingo County, they were a dry county.
Yep.
A court case because one of the gentlemen said his business was being damaged because of it being a dry county because he couldn't sell alcohol in the state and his business was going under because of it. He settled with the state.
He may have settled with the state, but what I'm telling you is I'm sitting here looking at...
Yeah, and then that's probably when they did the ballot initiative to get it to be back in a regular county, but the state settled with him, and one of the reasons they settled with him is because they didn't want it to go to federal scrutiny.
No, the reason the city settled with him was over the argument that the tax on the bar was illegal, actually, according to those articles.
What tax on the bar? I didn't hear that about tax on the bar. This wasn't a bar, it was a convenience store.
Well,
the tax on selling alcohol.
Well, they couldn't sell alcohol. You couldn't sell it.
Well, all I'm telling you is I'm looking at the news articles. There's nothing about a court case making Tishomingo County a wet county versus a dry county. It was a ballot initiative.
Yeah, I lived there, Iuka, Mississippi, and it was a very big state court case when it was happening. And they dropped it and settled with him, and one of the reasons they settled was because they didn't want it to go to federal.
They might not have wanted to. They might have thought they had a losing case, but that's not what the court ruled.
Well, they thought they had a losing case, and that was one of the things they made as their statement for why they thought they had a losing case. They felt that if it went to federal scrutiny, not only would that county fall, but they would run the risk of it being a federal rule that no county could be dry.
So there was no court order. It was a settlement, which has absolutely no precedential value.
Well, but I'm saying that that's why, though. That they made it very clear that that's why they didn't want it to go to federal scrutiny. Because if it went to federal scrutiny, it could very easily turn over and say, yes, you're damaged by the right to not being able to sell alcohol, and then therefore some people are being damaged by not being able to drink alcohol, and therefore no one can have a dry county.
Can we bring it back to the Florida spot though, because that's where it all started, right?
Well, bring it back to the Florida gun supply issue. Okay. The question is, first of all, can a business owner refuse service to anybody for any reason? The answer to that is yes, as long as it's not on a discriminatory basis.
Well, if you got to put a but, it's not yes.
Well, the answer in law school and in law is always yes, but, or no, but, or it depends.
But we're not in law school; we're in real world right now, and the answer is
guess who decides these things in the real world? Judges. They're lawyers.
You have to put a but that it's not yes. You cannot wait a second. If the qualifier is the infinity of any reason, and then you have to add a but, then therefore that infinitive qualifier is therefore invalid, so therefore it is not yes.
Welcome to the U.S. legal system. There are no definitive yeses or nos.
Sean, would you please explain to him what law school does?
Law school takes human beings and spends years beating common sense out of them.
Oh yes, I'm well aware. I know lots of attorneys.
So the point I'm
talking from a language and from a reality. If you say this rope is infinite until it gets to 30 feet and then it stops, then therefore it is not infinite because it gets to 30 feet and stops.
If Congress decides that 30 feet is the length of infinity, the courts say, okay, we're going to consider the term infinite to be 30 feet long.
They'll have to rewrite the dictionary.
Well, that's exactly the point they do every day, and that's one of the issues we've been dealing with in one of our cases is the fact that the legislature, if I told you I have a weapon, you would think that could mean a gun or a knife or anything else, right?
Well, let's make one thing clear. There's a difference between the legislature and the courts. The courts are hopefully trained professionals. The legislature is a bunch of tobacco farmers that got elected.
Well, but when
you'd be surprised at how insane some judges can be.
But the point I'm making is when the Florida legislature says, okay, we're going to have a law that says this is the rules for weapons, this is the rules for firearms, and then defines, for that purpose of that section, says, as used in this section, the term weapon means this, 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 and this, but never a firearm. The courts are now required to read that statute as if the term weapon excludes firearms.
Yeah.
And the court, and the point is, the legislature can make a word mean whatever the heck they want to. The court doesn't go to the dictionary unless the term is not defined in the statute. They do not give words their plain and ordinary meaning if they are otherwise defined in the statute.
We can all just stop arguing. We can all agree that you cannot discriminate against someone for any reason. You can discriminate against them for reasons other than.
Okay, you can discriminate against people for reasons other than protected classes.
Exactly.
And suspect classifications. So, you know, if
I can discriminate against you because you have foul body odor.
I can discriminate you because you're ugly or you're fat. I can
Thanks.
say, get out of my donut shop. No, I'm not saying you're fat. I'm just saying if someone's fat. I can say, get out of my donut shop. You're going to have a heart attack. You don't need another donut. So I discriminated against you because you're fat. I can do that.
so
You might not be able to, though, because of the Americans with Disabilities Act.
That's true if they say fat is a disability.
But let me bring this back to the Lucky Gunner suit, which I'm assuming y'all are all aware of, right?
We should take a second to mention that Lucky Gunner got sued by the Brady campaign or somebody. They lost, and then they have a bunch of extra money, and they're giving that away to nonprofits.
Right. And currently Florida Carry is in 10th place, so please go there and vote for Florida Carry.
Wait, Lucky Gunner lost or Brady campaign?
Brady lost.
Right, and Lucky Gunner decided instead of keeping all that, the winnings basically, the lawyer fees, they're going to give that away to Second Amendment organizations, and they're letting anyone who wants to decide which organizations get it. So like Sean said, you can pick Florida Carry, you can pick your own group, or both. I'll find the link and post it for you.
Right. As of right now, Florida Carry will be getting about 3% of the money, so please
We
go
have
to
tonight,
Lucky Gunner and
tomorrow.
vote for Florida
So
Carry.
this is like the last day to vote.
Oh, that's right.
That was a gun charity?
There's a whole list of them. Like seriously, there's dozens and dozens of them. So they're willing to give it to anybody who's on the list, and you just poke the little dot next to the group you want, and then they get a portion according to your vote.
Well, I'm not going to go over there and try to get. I would like to, but I am going to go over to Lucky Gunner and buy something simply because I think that's awesome.
Well, so in the Lucky Gunner case, Lucky Gunner won based on the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Firearms Act. But what CARE is arguing in the one of the arguments CARE is making in the Florida Gun Supply case is that Florida Gun Supply has to sell to all customers. To all these customers. It's going to be very hard in the future, based on that argument, to hold a gun store responsible when they didn't sell to somebody if they're constantly in fear of being sued because of who they didn't sell it to.
I was busy muting someone. I didn't get to hear all that.
But what I was saying is the argument against Florida Gun Supply is actually going to help defend places like Lucky Gunner in the future, because the argument is you can't discriminate, you can't decide who you do and don't give a gun to, and that's a successful argument in the Florida Gun Supply case. It's going to make it much harder for people like Brady to turn around and sue people who sold guns to somebody.
Yeah, so that's what I said in my chat. I was like, this guy should turn this around, and he should make it like, hey, this was just a statement. I'm here saying I'm going to deny these people guns because they're a risk, and the left is like, you can't do that. You can't blah blah blah. Well, by saying that, to me they're saying, well, you're not responsible for what they do afterwards, so you can't discriminate against them based on their religion or something about themselves like that. So to me, it would seem like it would be real easy to turn that argument and say, but the same people that are saying you can't do that would want to discriminate against people that are, oh, you're risky because you're a white male between the age of 18 and 25 or blah, blah, blah.
Well, and I'm surprised Brady hasn't called up Karen and said, what the heck are you doing?
Yeah. Because the whole fact that them attacking him on saying you've got to sell to everybody, that's like saying you're not responsible for what they do afterwards, so you have no vested interest in denying them. So that works against the anti-gunners, if you ask me.
Well, again, that's not CARE's issue, so I guess they just don't care, no pun intended.
I mean, am I wrong in that? I think this could be
No,
turned.
I think you're exactly right. I think that's exactly what's going to. I mean, that's the argument I'm going to use next time somebody complains about, whether owning a gun or being able to buy a gun is or isn't a constitutional right. Well, shoot, if you can't discriminate, it must be based on the race because they have a right to buy it. Geez, you start running into all kind of problems. To give you an example, the case that struck down the white-only restaurants was on the theory of interstate commerce and was against a barbecue restaurant in Birmingham, Alabama that was located just off the interstate. And the restaurant said we have a right to discriminate and choose who we do and do not do business with. And the federal court said, well, no, you don't, because you're targeted at serving people driving up and down the interstate, and you're interfering with interstate commerce. So the feds do have the jurisdiction to regulate.
All right, so here's a question. Does this mean that CARE is now a pro-gun organization?
Yes, it sure does. They're pro-gun because they want Muslims to get guns so they can kill people.
They're pro-guns for Muslims. They'll go left or right. I'm pro-gun for peaceful Muslims.
So you're saying if you're renting out your house, you can't say, I'm not renting my house to you because you're black? That's so fucked up, man.
Yeah, I know.
Because it's private property, man.
Actually,
I'm all about private property rights, man. I mean, you should be able to say no Mexicans, bro, for apartment for rent, but like no Mexicans, bro.
But
are you being a smart ass?
I'm being a smart ass.
He brings up a good point.
I'm being smart ass. Yeah.
Well, you're being a smart ass, but you bring up a good point. I mean, if you are as an individual citizen and you're not a business or anything, and I know plenty of people who do this, who they own a home, and maybe they own 2 homes.
Oh, if you're renting out a house, you are a business.
Yeah, you're a business. You're taking.
Yeah, but you're not applying for a business license. You haven't done anything. You're not there. There's no. I know people who, but I know people.
Hang on, Eric's trying to get in a word edgewise.
Well, hold on. You just cut never enough ammo off. Let Matt finish what he was saying. And
I'm just saying, I know people personally in my family who have a home and they're living in another place to help take care of a family member. They've rented out their home to another friend. There's no lease. There's no nothing. They don't own a business. Nothing like that. They're just trying to cover their expenses. Are they allowed to discriminate who lives in their house while they're taking care of a family member?
Well, dude, honestly, it sounds like unless they're renting it for very little, what is it, $600, and then you got to explain that income. I wish I could, blow off a rental income, but how do you explain a rental income without calling that a business? I mean, coming in as income.
That's actually not that's not the test. The test in that case is if you own, for example, you own a single-family home and you're going to rent it out to somebody. You can discriminate and be as discriminatory as you want to in who you rent it to. What you can't do is a realtor or a property management company who's engaged in the business of in the property business can't assist you in that discrimination.
Well, and you also, as an individual, cannot put it out there on the open market and then discriminate.
That's what I was going to say. The thing is, you can discriminate against who you want to rent your private property to, but you can't make a sign that says, I will only rent to white people, because that's a problem. But there's no one forcing you when you decide who you're going to rent it to make sure you're fair in who you decided to rent.
I mean, I can easily say that, hey, Yankee's my cousin. He's the only person I'm going to rent to, so Yankee can have the place, but nobody else.
Let me tell you where the problem came in. Up until and some there are still houses in certain neighborhoods around the country, early HOAs or early deed restricted communities, where the deeds, if you go look at the deed, it may actually say that you promise in signing this deed not to sell it to anybody but another white Anglo-Saxon Protestant.
Now, let me ask you this, Eric. I've seen this in some of the areas in like the little boroughs of Atlanta, different areas, where I've actually seen neighborhoods or housing communities that say 50 plus.
The power of AARP.
Now, how are they able to only sell to people of a 50 plus? Is that not discrimination as well? I mean, how do they get away with that?
But does your age make you a protected class?
Actually, well, it does in the case of age discrimination for employment, but more importantly, the anti-discrimination laws have been written to give an exemption to certain people. For example, a Baptist church can discriminate on the basis of religion in hiring their staff. Or a synagogue can discriminate on the basis of religion in hiring their staff. So there's an exemption for the protected class of religion for churches and other places of worship.
I get that, but what about a real estate developer that says that we're not going to allow anyone under the age of 65 to live here?
The so-called active adult communities actually have an exception in the law.
So that's
how does that pass
just an exception?
Muster?
Because it's not a governmental entity doing the discrimination, number one, and Congress has not protected classes aren't determined by the courts. The protected classes and suspect classifications based on things like race are looked at closely by the courts, but what is or is not a protected class is generally determined by Congress.
And
okay,
that's
so
also,
this is the point that I was
just remember, just because they can do it now doesn't mean that it has faced constitutional scrutiny.
It has.
I don't know if it has or it hasn't, but gay marriage faced lots of court scrutiny before it got approved, so just because they can get away with it now doesn't mean they'll be getting away with it in 5 years from now.
Yeah, good luck with that. The power of the AARP and the developers teamed up together ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, now if we had more intellectually honest judges, Yankee, you might be right, but we don't. And we really never have. There are a few breaths of fresh air out there, but far too few.
Well, and let's just throw a curveball in here and play devil's advocate for a minute. As far as is there now, let me preface this statement by saying the whole era of slavery and the atrocities that occurred during that time were unfathomable, like horrible things. I don't think
this is starting to sound like I don't want to sound racist, but
well, it is in a sense because I think we can all. I don't think anybody on here would agree that slavery was a horrible thing. It was an atrocity. I think that's unspoken but understood by all of us. However, there are certain situations or certain let me say it like this. There are certain demographics that would be better served to stay segregated in some aspects. And I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing when you talk about areas and properties and businesses. Same like to me, like let's take a Chick-fil-A for example. It takes about $200,000 to become an operator of a Chick-fil-A if you purchase an individual franchise of a Chick-fil-A. All right. And then you turn it over to people, and not necessarily just, it's not a black or white issue. It's people of substandard, whether it be ethics or morals or, work ethic. And you turn it over to someone to run your company that you just invested $200,000 in, and they run it into the ground and destroy it in a couple of years. Shouldn't we be allowed to, as private business owners and property owners, to discriminate?
Well, yeah, you can discriminate based on education and work performance and criminal history and stuff like that, because those aren't protected areas.
I'll give you an example, just to go back to what we were discussing a minute ago with the housing. Under the age discrimination laws for employment, age is a protected class. Under the Fair Housing Act of 1968, the protected classes are race, color, sex, national origin, religion, and familial status and disability. Age is not a protected class under the Fair Housing Act. In addition, Congress passed a special law, Housing for Older Persons Act of 1995, which set forth all the rules for these 55-plus communities that allow them to discriminate against younger homebuyers. So it's a lot of these anti-discrimination laws are not, because remember, like I was back to before, the constitutional protections from discrimination are a matter of the Constitution and the 14th Amendment. The anti-discrimination laws by private actors are a matter of legislation, not a matter of court action.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't the Chick-fil-A example something that would be covered under contract law? I don't really think that falls under discrimination. When you go to start a business, you can form a contract with someone and say you have to have this amount of financial backing, you have to meet these goals, or else the contract will default. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
Sure.
Yeah, and you know, there's a Chick-fil-A in my area that has a flaming homosexual black guy, and he's in the drive-thru, and he touches the milkshakes. Sometimes I like the milkshakes there. I see him touching it, and he hands it to me. What do I do?
Are you the gay and the black will rub off on you through your milkshake?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying that when all that Chick-fil-A shit happened, this guy worked there. I swear to God, this guy worked there for like 7 fucking years, and he was the most flamboyant black homosexual, like super. Maybe he wasn't homosexual, but he was so flamboyant. It was like, you know, it was straight out of fucking Birdcage type shit. You know, it was so. But anyway. And I don't know. He worked there, so that's just all I'm saying.
He smeared the mother on toast.
I think maybe if you just get to know him, you'll be all right.
I just don't want to discriminate against milkshakes. You know, like he touched it. You know, it's over with. But good, you know, because I don't ask for the whipped cream or the cherry, so it's pretty clean.
But the important question is, what kind of milkshake?
Strawberry, Chick-fil-A strawberry, and then they do the peach joint, and the peach milkshake is incredible.
So, are you too good for chocolate? What the hell? Racist.
They don't. I don't think they have chocolate there. They have cookies and cream, strawberry, and peach, and then they.
They absolutely have chocolate milkshakes at Chick-fil-A.
I've never had. I just see cookies and cream.
They don't have one at my local one. They just have cookies and cream, peaches, and strawberry.
But do they have watermelon flavor?
No.
Oh.
See what you did there.
Yeah, right now.
Sorry about my microphone before, guys. Gun Websites was right. My laptop mic was picking up.
It's all good. Back in action.
Does anyone mind taking an actual gun question from me?
Sure. Yeah, let's change the topic.
It's about a gay gun. If it's about that rainbow-colored
if it was a gay gun, I'd be asking Yankee specifically. But
well, no one in here knows anything about guns, so I don't see how we're going to be able to help you.
Hold on, I'm a damn self-proclaimed internet gun expert. I don't know what y'all are, so ask me.
Hey, now let's just get something straight off the top here. I mean, short of fucking G-Webs in here, I've been the YouTube gun expert longer than any of y'all, so suck it.
What you got, James?
Since when did it be a qualification?
It's always been a qualification.
So I've got an 870. I bought a walnut hardwood buttstock for it, and I want to put a rear sling swivel in. I've been looking on YouTube for an actually halfway decent tutorial, and I've been looking on forums. I really can't find anything halfway decent that doesn't look like they jacked it up.
Wait. So you what you need to do is basically, I mean, that's a real simple thing.
Hold on.
This is something I've done a lot of gunsmithing, so yeah, it's real easy. Go get yourself just a basic sling swivel kit. It's going to come with the screw. It's it's going to tap right in. You're not going to have any problems. I mean, the idea. I mean, now you want just like the right there under the bottom of the sling, under the bottom of the stock, right? You just want to tap
right near the butt pad.
Yeah. I mean, essentially, you're just the to get it done right to where it's going to look okay, you just want to make sure that you get your rifle lined up correctly, and you're going to drill a small pilot hole directly in the bottom of the stock. I mean, if you've got a vise or something like that, that's the best. I mean, I've got a vise that I keep on my bench, or some way to secure the rifle directly, horizontal, or excuse me, vertical, whatever. You want to get it straight up and down, and you want to make sure you drill just a small pilot hole that you're going to use to basically guide the screw in, and then once you do that, you just take the
hold on, Matt, because I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on this because I've done many a bitch. Hold on. Now, I agree with the initial. Do a tiny pilot hole to start, but the whole thing about those sling swivel screws is they're big, thick screws with big teeth. Yeah. And so what I do, you want to drill. Eventually, you're going to drill your pilot hole to the same size as the inner, like the solid part of the screw.
The core, yeah.
The core of the screw. You want your pilot hole to be as big as the. Yeah. Otherwise, you could split your stock if you drill too small.
Yeah, I think that it's called the base circle of the screw.
Yeah, I'm just looking for pointers because I've done plenty of at home gunsmithing crap, but I just don't want to split anything.
Yeah, it's pretty simple. I mean, just make sure your pilot hole is good, and that it's all about lining your rifle up so that when you get that drill.
Since Stone Guy got to disagree with you, I want to disagree with you too.
Wow.
Depending on the wood, depending on the thickness of the wood and the fiber of the wood, I won't go to the base of the screw. I'll go to the base of the screw -1.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd agree with that.
Because wood can move, but you can't put it back.
Right. That's what I'm concerned with because it's a walnut stock, so it was it was a halfway decent kit. So.
And the other big thing that people do wrong: do not ever put any kind of glue or epoxy in there because.
Oh yeah,
the wood will swell and move, and that screw's designed to. That's why there's so much space between those threads for that wood to swell and move around the screw. If you put something like a epoxy, the epoxy's brittle or hard rather, and when it goes to, like if your wood swells, the epoxy won't move, and it could crack or strip your screw out.
What you do is you lay up 4 layers of S-glass fiberglass first on top of the wood.
I think you lost everybody here, Sean.
Yeah,
that was a joke.
Oh. See, don't do that kind of crap to me.
Hold on. Well, I'm going to disagree with Yankee just to have Matt's back. You can take away too much wood. That's definitely possible, but if that happens, in a situation where that happens, consider shoving like a piece of toothpick or a chopstick or something in there, break it off, and then screw the screw back in. And that can take a lot of the slack.
That's some Afro engineering right there.
I have unfortunately had to do that before.
I put a picture in the Hangout chat of what I'm working with, if that gives you a better idea.
No, you should be good. The best swivel kits, and make sure you get one that's got that little white. Generally, it's a little white washer.
Okay. Any brand I should be looking at?
I do the Uncle, is it Uncle Mike's?
Uncle Mike's makes a good one.
Yeah, I think it's Uncle Mike's.
Yeah, but Butler Creek and Uncle Mike's, same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, I got my Form 1 approved last week, and I've got it all together, but I definitely want to get that sling swivel. And funny enough, I've actually mounted bead sights on the end of barrels more than I've done this, so I just don't want to mess it.
Form 1, you're making a short barrel, huh?
Yeah, I've got that done. That's the part I've done before. I chalked it up in a lathe and cut it down to 12.5 inches. So.
Nice, you got a damn scatter gun then, huh?
Yeah, if you want, I can get it and you can take a look at it if y'all are interested. She's actually pretty good looking.
so no hacksaw, huh?
Hell yeah, we're always into some gunplay.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'll be right back. I'll make sure to mute my.
Anyway, you never done that, Stone? Putting a piece of wood into a hole that's too big? It works fine. It just smashes all the wood pulp to spread the hole. If you've got enough substance of the wood around it, in that case walnut, it should be nice and sturdy. And it's just going to put, if you put the right amount of toothpicks or whatever in there, it'll give it just the right amount of friction that thing's never coming out. So you want it to, and it'll screw right out.
You can just dip your toothpicks in wood glue and fix cabinet doors that way. But what I do is I just drill the hole out a little bit bigger, cut a plug of the same wood, glue the plug in, then re-drill.
Yeah, I was about to say, if you do have the, for whatever reason, need to use any kind of epoxy or adhesives, definitely use wood glue. Don't mess with epoxies or anything. Wood glue is made for that stuff, and it will move with the wood.
Screw that. I'm going to use super glue.
Alrighty, I'll see if I'm not sure if my webcam's going to work. But
I just want to break in real quick and say before he shows his gun, I got my dragon knife from Huck. On my picture there.
There you go.
Actually, my son.
Don't let me scare you with your Muslim talk before, because I kind of look like one, but I'm sure you all won't mind.
Now, let me ask you this: with the doing a Form 1 on a shotgun, is it an AOW?
No, it started its life as an actual. It started its life as a 26-inch barrel, I think. What it was. I don't know if you can see my camera right now or not.
Hold on, let me lock in on you. So now it's just a short barrel shotgun.
Can you see me? Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I'm locked in on you.
There we go.
So it's an SO. When you did the Form 1, it's an SOS.
It's an SBS, yeah.
SBS, sorry, yeah, SBS. That's what I meant to say. Now, with the SBS, are there any restrictions? Like, even with an SBS, does it have to be a certain length, or not under a certain length?
No. I mean, as far as I know, there's aren't any restrictions like that. They just have the same travel restrictions as like my SBRs and things like that. But
when you do the Form 1, you said you'll do it for like a length. So he did it for some length. Now he can go out and buy any barrel he wants, swap it up in there. As long as he puts it in that configuration or sells it or transfers it the next time in that same length, then that's really the only thing they would specify on there.
Now your mag tube cap, does it already have the swivel on it?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, I want one of these back here.
Yeah, exactly.
My concern was with this screw. I didn't know how deep the swing swivel kits were, so that's why I was trying to get a recommendation of like placement or anything like that.
Well, and that's the thing. You want a little bit of space between the ends, just because you don't want to be right there, a quarter inch from the edge.
Probably. What do you think? About 1.5 inches up from the butt.
That's about right.
Plate,
like right up here.
Just for carrying, so you can carry it around.
I mean, I'm a guy that looks like about 6 inches to me, but
well,
1.5 inches would do.
Sure. I mean, the screw's about that deep, so I was figuring giving it a little bit of space. So
that's a long screw.
What model is that again?
Yeah. This is an 870 Wingmaster made in 1980, and I wouldn't have chopped up a good Wingmaster if it wasn't for the fact that the guy who sold it to me abused the living hell out of it. Like, I had to buff and sand the thing to get it where it is now.
Are you Muslim?
No, I'm not. I'll move it up. Don't anyone get scared, but no, I just look Muslim. Which is,
I was just saying, if the worst that happens is you screw up the stock, just get another 870 stock.
I'm just gonna. Can I just throw it out there that Stone Guy has just proven his racism just because somebody has a beard?
I thought you looked like. At first, I thought you were a Sikh, and Sikhs are fucking awesome. But then I realized you look like Jesus. Holy, you're like really what Jesus looked like. So
Jesus would have probably been a lot darker. He looks Jewish to me.
Yeah, I get Muslim #1 and I get Jewish #2. Most people come up to me and ask me if I'm like an Orthodox Jew and why I'm not dressed up like one.
Yeah, you get your little.
Show them that 870. They're not going to think you're an Orthodox Jew.
Right. You're Muslim Jews are more like a pro-gun.
No involvement with ISIS or anything like that.
I mean, they came to my house, but they were right behind the Mormons, so I wasn't quite sure. But their benefits weren't very good.
Because I mean, really, what would you need a short barrel shotgun unless you were some kind of terrorist?
Right, sure. It's the same thing with my suppressors. What else would I need besides killing people?
Right, exactly.
You're gonna put one of those silencer shotgun suppressors on there now?
I don't. Do they warranty that short?
I don't know. Probably not. That would be cool.
I mean, that would be cool. I mean, I'd have to go bring it to a gunsmith to get the barrel changed to it to accept it, but Yeah, no, I like her. Yeah, it came in last week, and I think I've got some before pictures, but somewhere. But it was, I mean, it was rusted and pitted bad. I had to really sand it down, and then I Cerakoted it, and it's turning out pretty good. So, hope you like it. Yeah, it's registered at 12.5 for the barrel and 32.5 overall.
So,
where they registered it on.
So just obviously smooth bore. Or did you have it re-choked?
Oh, it's smooth bore right now. Yeah.
Have you been able to pattern it?
No, I go Saturday. I'm meeting some buddies who they all collect Class 3 stuff, and we're gonna go shoot, and they'll pattern it that day. So.
You got a pistol grip for it?
No, actually, that would be a good question for you, seeing that you find a bunch of really weird and crazy stuff according to your YouTube videos. I'm looking for a hardwood pistol grip that someone actually manufactures. Because clearly,
cool on there. I think
clearly, if I can't do a sling swivel, I don't want to cut down hardwood stock. But
an 870 has that damn screw coming out, so you really can't just whittle a stock down. It has to be somebody makes one. I would be surprised if somebody
does. What's that company, G-Webs, that we looked at a couple months ago, and it was like all they do is hardwood furniture. Oh, shit.
Ironwood?
Ironwood, yeah.
I already checked. I called Ironwood. He doesn't do shotgun stuff. He's got such a backlog. He's not really interested in taking my money. I told him I would give him a good chunk of change, but he says it's just not worth it to him.
Yeah, you remember that place, G? The Ironwood?
They got kicked out. They only do AK stuff, though.
Okay.
I mean, they have the ability to do stuff because they got some sort of crazy mill or something out of wood, but I don't know.
Yeah. Now, that would be interesting, though, with that short barrel, just to see how it patterns. Like, it would be awesome is if you, I don't know, do you do YouTube videos at all? Like, do you have a channel?
I have a channel, yeah.
It'd be neat if you could get a standard 870.
Yeah, I've got one I could do side by side. I've got an 870 tactical.
Let's take a quick second here. You've got a YouTube channel. What is it? Let's hear it. Throw it out there.
It's youtube.com/Jeroth1987, which is why I'm about to copy and paste it.
What the fuck kind of terrorist name is that?
Oh, it's Arab. I'm not really looking for a ton of viewers.
It's the Muslim Jubal kind.
Jeroth1987. Okay, so you got. I've just subscribed to you, so there you go.
You're so getting flagged after this chat.
Buddy, I work in the nuclear industry. I've got clearances. I've got plenty of clearances to work on plenty of stuff. I'm already on a ton of short lists. So.
No, but no. In all seriousness, it'd be neat if you could pattern, side by side a standard barrel to that short barrel. That'd be interesting.
I can do that. If you want to see a real short barrel, that Form 1 that I just linked the YouTube video. It's a short video. That thing patterns like a son of a bitch.
I'm just fascinated with the 45 Osprey on a 300 blackout.
Oh yeah, dude, it's awesome. It's dead quiet.
So you're all about the SBSs then?
I mean, they're just I kind of just do anything really. Like so, I don't have any kids yet, so I don't really have money sinks or black holes. So recently, I've been just filling my trust as much as I humanly can. So
that's awesome. So that little one, it kicks pretty good.
Oh yeah, that's birdshot that we shot in that. We shot a high brass buck out of it, and then high brass slugs, and the slugs were actually tearing into your finger to the point where it was getting to we were worried if we might need stitches. I'm in Virginia.
Oh shit! Is that a New England firearm?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I've got the same gun, man, but mine's not chopped down.
Yeah, it patterns. We did. I think I have pictures somewhere. Maybe I'll just make a YouTube video patterning both of those. I'll compare them side by side with their full size versions. But
yeah, that'd be awesome.
That'd be interesting. It was about a basketball at 5 yards, and then you backed up to 10, and the cardboard silhouettes we had were completely two of them were just completely splattered with number 8. So
now I've got to point something out on this video that you just linked, the 17-second video. Your hand is so close to the end of that barrel, dude. It looks like you're about to blow your fucking hand off.
Well, sure, but it's a single shot, so I'm not too concerned with it. I mean, some people have told me get a foregrip, but I mean, as long as my hand is starting clear of the barrel, sure, I might slip in front of it, but I've got no chance of it actually going off the second time. So
that was crazy looking though.
Oh wait, that thing's
You
single
have not
shot
shot the 10.5 yet?
I'm sorry.
Have you? You said you have not shot that 10.5 yet?
No. I just got done coding today, so yeah, there's a few things I'm going to change, and then I'm going to get it recoded. But I've got there's some jagged edges on the extraction port, so you can see from the few times I chucked it, it took the Cerakote right off, and it's properly done. Like the hardener was mixed right, so I think I've got to take some of these jagged edges off the extraction port. But
all right, I just subscribed to you. So.
Appreciate it.
I'll be waiting for the side by side.
Yeah, we're Saturday. We're gonna shoot probably 4 or 5 rounds of skeet. We're gonna shoot a few select fires, and then I'll see if I can pattern that later in the day, and I'll upload the video for y'all.
Well, I wish I hadn't subscribed to you, because now I feel like I just spent a bunch of money on a Saker 7.62 when I didn't really need to, because you just shot it all through the osprey.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you're keeping it subsonic, because if you shoot super, you'll blow the can, and you obviously void your warranty, so you don't want to mix up your ammo. So.
Oh yeah, well, okay, then I'm not feeling so bad.
Yeah, no, I've got a Form 1 can that I'm doing. I'm waiting on it to get back that I'm cutting at 0.4, so I'll be able to put it on my AKs and 308s and whatever. So that's
you're actually building a can yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. What kind of baffle system are you using?
I'm just doing this first one. I'm doing one of the solvent trap kits.
Okay.
So that's that one. But I have that's the first one. But I work at a pretty big nuclear power plant design company, so I have access to a lot of CAD. So if I want, I'm thinking about doing a mono-core Form 1, but it's just going to take a little bit.
Do you know how Jesse James does that one that looks like a football? In honor of your industry, you should do one that looks like a little cooling tower.
There you go. Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
I think it'd be a little heavy. No, it
looks like a boob.
I've got a bunch of coworkers who do like CFD work and all these fluid dynamic calculations and everything. So if I want to, they'll help me design a pretty cool baffle system.
He clearly needs to make one that looks like
radioactivity inside of the building, so they should be able to keep a little bit of sound.
Well, but he clearly needs to make one that looks like a toxic waste barrel.
I agree. That'd be kind of cool. Have like little radiation and biological symbols on it.
Can you throw out a carbon rod?
Definitely let us know how that solvent trap works out for you, and how it really applies.
From every review, the company that I went with, there's a few guys out there that have like Surefire 7.62 cans, and they did side-by-sides, and at least from the video, which I understand can be a little deceptive, they even say in their video they can't really notice the difference. And I just want a can that I don't worry about voiding the warranty, and I'll just literally abuse the hell out of it until it goes away. So
what's the deal? You buy one of those pieces of metal, and then you Form 1 it, and then it's a suppressor, and you add cans?
Yeah, here, actually, I'll bring you the kit. Give me 1 second.
This is the best chat ever.
Yeah, he needs to be on more chats.
All right, so basically you buy a solvent trap, and you pick your material and your length. So I'm doing a 10-inch can. This is carbon steel, so it's rated for 300 Win Mag, I believe, according to their website, is what they've tried it up to. And it's got a solid end cap that's been scored. So you get one of those, and then you order your thread adapters, and then you have stainless steel freeze plugs that once you get your form back, you can drill.
And those are your baffles then?
Mm-hmm.
So they can sell them to you because they're just pieces of metal that look like a giant.
Well, yeah, you don't even have to buy these. If you just go down to your closest AutoZone, they have about 1,000 of them. So.
Oh, that's a car part. What is it?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a freeze plug.
Okay, yeah. So you can just buy those. Right
yeah,
on.
you want to buy the stainless steel ones, which are a little bit harder to find because they're going to hold up a little bit better. And then you just find steel pipe, cut for a blast chamber, and then you insert 1.5, 2-inch blast chamber, whatever you decide here, and then just stack your baffles until they build up.
That's like those Maglite ones.
Yeah, actually the company that does this, they came up with that, and then they decided that the Maglite ones, people didn't like the durability of them because they didn't last very long. So these, I mean, there are guys shooting 300 Win Mag out of these suckers, and they're holding up. They're just heavy because it's carbon steel, but they sell titanium, aluminum, and carbon steel ones. I just want one where if I shoot it full auto and it turns red hot, I'm not voiding my warranty. I don't really care. So. But yeah, they're cheap too. That's the great part. I mean, as long as you don't mind the price of the stamp, if you abuse the crap out of it and you blow it, it's like $150 I think I have in this thing.
Yeah, I was definitely looking into that earlier, and I just didn't know about how quiet they would end up.
Oh, now let me ask you this:
what is the suppressor though? What's the part that you form one? Because then you can keep moving it yourself, right?
The tube.
So
I'd like to do the end cap if the tube's going to be, the possible failure item.
I got a question. If you build it yourself and then it gets damaged, can you put new baffles in it without having
to... the ATF ruled
that's what I was just about to ask.
The ATF ruled on baffle replacement, and they said that changing even one baffle would be considered remanufacturing a suppressor. However, in their ruling, they even put, we have no idea how we would prove it, because when you submit your design specs to the ATF, their only requirements is dimensions. I knew a guy around here who actually submitted his dimensions. He scanned in a crayon drawing that was like 6 inches by 2 inches, and that was it. They don't even know how many baffles are in it. So even in their ruling, they admitted they don't know how you would replace them, but no one would ever do that. So
and even if they knew how many baffles were in it, if you took the old ones out and put new ones in, how do they say, "Ha, this baffle isn't"?
Exactly. Basically, it's just a money thing. They want people who are honest, who are gonna, who are actually gonna follow the letter of the law to pay them another $200. But I mean, it's just a piece you buy at the auto store. So
cool.
And this one's from SD Tactical Arms. They're out of, I think, Wisconsin. They're really great guys. Their technical support's awesome. But veteran run. So, and he sells.
Really, again, like you say, if you were gonna obey the letter of the law, you're not allowed to build it in 45 ACP, let's say, and then make a bunch of new baffles in 22 and shoot 22 through it.
Right. So you would need to pick what dimension you want to run. So I'm cutting.
So how does Silencer Go get away with the interchangeable, end caps?
The end caps aren't considered. So you're not remanufacturing, right? So in your design, this is still modular. So it's not as fancy as my Osprey. But
so if the core is
modular.
Interchangeable, what's the problem?
No, they don't allow that. Not according to the ATF.
That makes sense of saying you redesigned your gun by putting it on your shoulder.
No, see, you can put a boost. I can put a booster in this, and then I can run it on obviously non-fixed or handguns. I can change out which thread adapters I want to put on the end.
They don't count like the booster or the muzzle devices as the suppressor, is what we're saying, right?
Right, exactly. And you just basically got to cut it at the max caliber you want to use. So I really wanted an AK can because I want to play around with some reloads to see if I can get some subsonics to cycle. A few people have done it. So I'm cutting my baffles at 0.4 to give me some good wiggle room with as notorious as AK barrel threads are. So I'll be able to run it on 308, 9mm, all the way down to 22. And I can just abuse it.
Well, if I've learned anything from the movies, I know that all I have to do is duct tape a potato and a pillow to the end of my gun, and that's all I need.
Sure.
Putting a pillow or a potato at the end of your gun is the act of a felony, correct? If you fired the gun, it would reduce the decibels, and that would be an improvised suppressor. I'm pretty sure that's illegal.
Probably.
I mean,
only if you duct tape it there, though.
I don't know. You cannot. I don't think you're allowed to hold up a pillow to the front of a pistol and shoot it.
Right. Anything that deadens or lessens the sound of a firearm is considered an improvised suppressor, and it's illegal.
Oh wow! So if you're in a close-in fight, you got to make sure that you pull the barrel back from them before you shoot it.
I don't know. I would
wouldn't
want
that
to. I would
suck?
want to hear rulings on that because I want to know what the difference between actually manufacturing a device that does that attaches to it. What's the ATF's definition? You know what I'm saying? Because
I think they'll have to do some linguistic gymnastics to make that happen.
oh, sure. Because I mean, there's plenty of people. I think Demolition Ranch did a video where he held a water balloon up to the end of his barrel. So
Well, see, the most famous one was Michalik. Jerry Michalik held a, I think he did the pillow, and
Yeah.
everybody was up in arms, like, how the hell did you do that? That's illegal. You can't do that. Yada yada. And
I really don't think it is. Because if you're going by that definition, then wouldn't all the ranges with the big concrete pipes that you shoot from to keep the noise down, wouldn't they be?
No, it's anything that touches the barrel of your gun that makes the sound less.
It has to be portable. So you can have a big, like you're talking about, like 55-gallon drums that are got baffles in them, and you can shoot through that and make it nice and quiet in your backyard. But because it's not portable. But as soon as you, like I say, I don't know about Michalik holding up the pillow because I would think, I mean, what's between that and I would just take a pillow out every time I go shooting. There are a whole shit ton of pillows, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask my lawyer. I'd want to talk to him. He does some pretty good research. So
I mean,
what? So why these days I'm going to get a hold of David Goldman. He is like the gun trust lawyer. Guntrust.com, that's his site and everything. He's a friend of ours. I'm going to get a hold of him so that we can have a special gun channels chat with the Gun Trust lawyer.
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan for sure. My NFA lawyer is John Peters. He's the founder of OpenCarry.org.
Oh God, he's a good friend of ours too.
Yeah, John's an awesome guy. I love John.
Great.
Yeah.
We'll be seeing him in a couple of months at Gun Rights Policy Conference.
Oh yeah, sure. John's an awesome guy. No, so I appreciate the input on that shotgun. I think it gives me at least a little better idea. I just hate going on these sites and these people are, oh yeah, I did a great job, and it's off, and it's, yeah, no thanks.
Well, for the pistol grip, have you thought about going to a like a furniture manufacturer or something like that that makes hand stuff or anything like that?
About that. That sounds like a good idea. I might consider that. I asked on a few gun forums. I asked about hardwood pistol grips, and basically what I got back was, "Don't turn your gun into a useless piece of garbage." And I'm like, well, that's not really the point, but sure.
Yeah, seriously. I gotta assume somebody does, because that's a style back in the day, right? The little car guns or something, where the people would chop them down, truck gun or something.
Yeah. No, I mean, that little short single shot, it's been a hit at the range. I shoot at a police range, and they love it. The one guy was a 30-year state trooper veteran, and he was like, I pulled about 80 of these out of burning cars, but I never got the chance to shoot one. So he had a blast with it.
After shooting the Serbu and other little, like 10-inch, most of those SPSs are 10-inch or something like that, because usually they run to the end of the mag tube. But every once in a while you'll go like an inch longer than the mag tube and get another round in there. But I find that even the Serbu does an awesome pattern. I mean, they shoot great. The whole concept of like, oh, you have no more shot or group or whatever when you cut it, that's like to stop people from cutting it like out of fear or whatever. Because you can shoot skeet with that 10-inch, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'll try it on Saturday, like I said. I'm thinking about actually buying another 870 barrel off of somebody used. We'll put probably a bead on this one just to keep a traditional look, and then I'm going to put ghost rings on the other one because I've got a mag pool set I can throw on it. Because that's the great part about the SPSs is I can just swap out furniture as much as I want.
Exactly. That thing with a little folding stock would be neat.
Now, I'll warn you, if changing the stock changes the overall length, you have to send to the ATF just a letter giving them alternative configurations for your rifle or shotgun.
Not anymore. According to John, if you guys know him, then that's my credible source. As long as I retain the registered stock length, not the set, I can change it over to temporary configurations as much as I want. If that was true, then every time that I took my SBR AR-15 and converted it over to a 9mm, I'd have to let them know. According to him, as long as you retain it,
you're good.
I might have to have
It's all
David
about
and John
temporary
talk.
configuration. If you want to permanently or transfer it to someone else, put it in a different configuration, then yeah. Or if you're going to take us, maybe you might want to put it in that configuration just in case. But temporary configuration just means as long as you can put it back where it came from, you can. That's like saying you can't take it apart.
Yeah, I have a feeling that James is right and Sean is wrong on this one.
Because what I got back was, if you're going to go to the range without bringing those components with you, just go ahead and file the alternative configuration. It's just sending them a letter. There's no approval required.
Yeah, but that's the thing. That you might send them a letter, and sure, they might say thanks, but there's no like official form to do that. So there's no legal requirement.
Oh yeah. Well, there is.
They don't even know.
You advise them of alternative configurations, like if you're going to do it in a different caliber, something like that. But it is as simple as you send them a letter saying, "Here's the alternative configuration."
I would agree. I would agree with you if I was doing a permanent change to it, or if that was the one I wanted to leave it to. But I am almost 100% confident that you don't have to do that as long as you are able to revert it back, because they don't know that I'm using a walnut stock. They just know the overall length. So if I go out and buy a collapsible and it matches here,
the material is. It's just if the length changes.
I don't know. I have to agree to disagree, but I'll take my lawyer's advice as the way it should be. So
I'll talk to John tomorrow just to see where he's getting that.
Sure, he's the one that told me. So, but yeah, I mean, if that was true, then I've got a very long letter to send them about my AR. So
yeah, it doesn't take but a few minutes.
Oh, I'm sure. I think probably the answer you'll get back is they would probably like it, but there's no legal requirement to. Just like there's no legal requirement for me to have my stamps and trust with me when I take them out of my house. The law requires I display them when asked. So if that means, hey, I don't have them with me, come back to my house and show, sure, but I carry them for convenience.
As with a lot of things with the ATF, they change their interpretations all the time. So I go for a lot of CYA when it comes to that.
Oh, sure. I mean, I have them every time I leave the house with any of my items, of course, because in Virginia, I have a duty to show an officer because they're explicitly outlawed by state code unless you have a federal stamp. So I have to show a trooper or a local cop if he asks me. But I'm just saying, as far as what's legally required and what people recommend, I usually just go with whatever John recommends.
Is there a cool way to carry, or how do you plan on carrying a stamp with that, or do you not carry them on the guns?
Oh, no, I don't carry them on the guns. I would just have I went to Office Max and got a waterproof plastic folder, and I stick them in my range bag, and then I just have all my stamps with me at all times, copies of them at least.
Did you at least shrink them down so they're cool and like small?
No, I don't care. I just have I have enough copies for my co-trustees or trust members, excuse me. So when they want to borrow something, I just hand them that and hand them the item that they're borrowing. So.
And it sounds like you have a different situation out here. Local can't talk to us about our NFA, so we care. Some people carry it, but it's like, say, they'll shrink it down to like business card size, and then sometimes, like on that gun, they'd probably put on a sling. Like there's little pockets you can get in the sling. Just kind of
that'd be cool. But, I mean, according to John, because it's e-filed, I actually don't even, there is no original stamp, so if I wanted to have them on my phone, those are considered the original stamps. So.
Well, that's even cool. I didn't even think about that. That's way more handy.
Yeah, so because they did the e-filing, there isn't really a gray period anymore. If I want to scan them all to PDFs and stick them on my Android, and then if a cop stops me, go, here's my trust and here's my stamps, you want to see the original, come back to my house, that's pretty much the way it's fine.
Post them online with a tiny URL and engrave that right on your gun. Here you go, guy. Or put a QR code on there. There you go.
Right, and then some web crawler gets my my home address where all my NFA items are and a list of them. So.
Nah, that's probably not good.
It's all right.
Put it on Hillary's server. I hear nobody can get in there.
They'll have to.
Wait, Sean, my wife told me.
That's the close of the night.
That's funny.
Sean, my wife told me today she was going to start calling me Hillary or Lois.
Oh, wow.
I had a bad email failure this week.
No, but. Yep. Other than that, I've been playing with the Glock SBR, registered a Glock 17 SBR, and that's been fun. That's been the main one that I've been playing with. I got a Roni kit for it, and then the Mako collapsible kit with the foregrip. So
awesome. What generation the Glock?
3, because basically all the aftermarket stocks and stuff only are compatible with the 3s right now.
What do you mean? Oh, the 2 don't have. Or wait, you're talking about ones that attach to the slide. Are you talking about the Mako goes up the plug, right?
Yeah, the Mako that goes up the plug, they don't have a Gen 4 currently.
Oh, okay. I was thinking Gen 2 thing, so I guess Gen 4 would be different.
Yeah. I really like that kit. That's the one I registered it on. It's super lightweight. It's barely noticeable. It does a really good job on recoil management. The Roni kits, it's a nice kit, but it's just a pain in the ass to put it in and out. It's not very quick.
Yeah, a buddy of mine, a police officer of one of our local departments, brought over. Their department actually issues Roni kits to certain people, and he brought his over and showed it to me, and we went out and shot it. It was okay, but I was just like, I don't get it.
I don't mind it. I wish there wasn't all that rigmarole because it'd be neat. And if you're gonna can on there, I think that's a cool little setup. Put a right down on top.
There's a big problem.
It's definitely a neat little setup, but I was just like, I don't see myself going out of the way to get one.
The problem actually with the Roni kits and the cans is because of how it's designed, there's that metal blast chamber, and unless you have a really small diameter can, like it doesn't work with my Osprey because even if I fit it, the recoil would slam it into that metal blast chamber.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So it's good if you want to run it.
You have a 17, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about throwing like a 35 slide on there? Does that get it out past that? Or it won't work?
It would be compatible. Let me check real quick. I'll be right back.
I can't remember if that's the one that uses that little metal like edge up front, or if it's the one that's movable. I think SBR on the clock is one of the most fun things.
The mic. Sorry, boys. I
think SBR on a Glock is one of the funnest things to do because there's so much short barrel shotgun or short barrel rifle stuff for it.
Oh yeah, it's a blast. My wife loves it too. She wants her own. I filed her an AR-15 SBR, and then like a week later, she's like, I want this.
Have you ever shot the SBR Glock with just a vert grip on it, like a little Beretta?
Oh yeah, I can do that right now. I just pulled the stock out and I've got foregrip. I hate it. It's awful.
You don't like that? Oh, okay. I just wanted to do it.
I mean, from hip, it's
without a stock.
Okay.
I mean, just like a little weird.
Yeah, like
a little scorpion or something.
Let me check this real quick and then I'll let you know. Yeah, it's not gonna fit. I have a 17L slide here and. Sure, it's longer even with a comp. But
even though it's 9mm, that slide will work for the dimension.
Yeah, I don't even think it will fit. But
James, do you have Instagram?
No, I don't.
Right.
Sorry. You can hit me up on my YouTube. I'll check that throughout the day. So here, I'll show you. Let me grab that too. My safe's already open, so let me mute my microphone.
Sounds like next time we'll just have to put the webcam right in front of the safe.
Pretty much. Yeah, this guy's freaking awesome. His toys are amazing.
But he doesn't have an Instagram, so none of it really exists.
Yeah. We're not sure if it's still all there during the day.
So yeah, if you just pop that out, I can't really find a comfortable way to shoot it. So you'd think like traditionally you're out here, right? And then by the time you get it all lined up, like my elbows, I can't lock out my elbows. So now I'm shooting like this, which has just got tons of recoil.
Now would a crimson trace that wraps around the grip go past that vert grip?
What do you mean?
Would you be able to put a crimson trace on there and then just shoot it from the hip, all badass style?
Potentially, yeah. I don't know how it would interact with the
that's what I mean.
cover,
it might not go past there.
Yeah, I don't know how I like this. I got this from McGill. I don't.
Well, we know Ballistic would love it.
I don't know. So I went with the Mako one because I've got the Mako stock and foregrip, and so I was like, all right, let's just complete the stupid set while I'm ordering it. Buy the charging.
Is it plastic or aluminum?
It's aluminum. the Mako one is removable, so you can run it left or right. But IR made it twice because it just falls out while you're shooting it. If you do anything, if you do double taps, every time just ding. And I sent him back, and he was like, "Oh yeah, so the first one was a quality control issue. I'll make sure you get the right one." He sent me another one he handpicked, and it did the same thing. So he sent me like $100 flip-up sights as an apology because I needed a pair. And then I went with these, and this one's not going anywhere because it's a fixed one. But it just looks like a giant donkey dick sticking off the end of my slide. So
when you say it fell off, like it didn't knock the back plate and your slide fell apart.
No, so how that one
itself fell off?
It looks like one of those full auto adapter conversion kits sticking out the end, and there's two holes with the retaining in the middle, and then you just push the charging handle in depending on what side you want on it.
And its little detent wasn't enough to hold it or whatever.
No, it's garbage. And for $60, you'd think they'd figure out how to do it. Now it looked a lot better. It was a lot more streamlined.
The chassis though, like does it get retained when it's in the chassis or something maybe?
Yeah. So yeah, I think all I know is when you take it apart, when you look on the back of the back plate like you would a normal Glock, you'll actually see a screw where they close up the detent pin and then they do like a tack weld on the back so you can't move it. So there was, unless I wanted to tack weld and pin it shut, which was the whole point, was to get one I could move back and forth. It was garbage. So, but
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean it's a blast. I highly recommend one of these. They're a lot, especially suppressed. I've got a video. I got a couple. I think I got one of my wife shooting it. But yeah, this is a monster. It's so ugly. It makes, I mean, a lot of people say Glocks are ugly. It just makes this Glock even more ugly. But yes, Yankee, thank you for the comment on my furniture. I'm closing on a house hopefully soon, so there's no point in buying better furniture now. So.
Well, you're using your money wisely. You've got an SBR Glock. Who gives a shit about shelves?
See, I like the way you think. Yeah, no, I need to make it out to Arizona. Speaking of doing some shooting, I got my mother-in-law's out there, and yeah, so maybe I'll one day go out there and do some shooting.
Cool. Let us know.
Cool. Yeah, I know Haas from way back when he first started doing his YouTube. So I've talked with him on the phone, and actually I think I talked to him when he was out down there hanging with us. So Haas is a good guy. Well, sorry for yapping your ears off, gentlemen.
Oh, hell no. Pleasure's ours.
Yeah, you have cool toys. You get the floor.
Exactly.
Well, if you want to see my last, well, if you want to see one more cool toy, I'll show you my my SBR.
Yes.
Why not?
Absolutely.
Yeah, no thank you. Is anyone going to say that?
No, not at all.
We're just all quietly waiting.
Of course we are.
Is it weird that my SBR hangs on the wall right underneath my longest barrel rifle?
My wife is gonna kill me because I've got all my guns out and she's trying to sleep for work, but I don't care. So this is what I registered it under. It's a 7.5 inch Aero Precision barrel, a Troy Bravo. I think they call them, yeah, Bravo, Alpha Bravo. I usually build, I really love the Troy Alpha rails, so I got quite a few of those, but I wanted to do a quad with how short it was. Because of the weight savings, I may as well just do this. A modular to me seemed like a waste. I may as well just get the full rail space. Troy micro flip-ups, obviously, the Vesky Pig. But yeah, this thing, it runs awesome. Just, that Pig just makes it run. It just runs and runs and runs.
That's your wife's, though?
No, this one's mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the ladders or the panels on top there just for looks?
Oh yeah, just to cover it up so I don't ding up the rail at the range. And they look pretty. But yep.
Yeah, we were talking about stamp collectors. This is a good kind of stamp collecting, though.
Yeah. Yesterday I was talking about the bad stamps. These are good stamps.
Yeah, I was worried about reliability, honestly, with these, but with the pig, I have got some 7.5-inch pistols, and they've got some cycling issues depending on the ammo you shoot through them. With this thing, I've shot junk through it, and it just doesn't stop. I can't get this thing to fail unless I run it dry. So, like any AR.
The pig, are you talking about the gas system that wraps around the barrel, or
No,
just the muzzle device?
The muzzle device.
Okay.
The muzzle device. It's basically a. If you don't know about the pig, it's basically a single chamber like you would have in a suppressor, like with a baffle here.
Mm-hmm.
And they're individually serialized because the ATF required them to. And it just basically creates that same type of back pressure as if you were to have a suppressor on it, but it doesn't reduce the noise, it just creates that back pressure.
Wait, why did the ATF require a serial number on this?
Read an article on it. That's just what Noveski told me. It has a unique identifying serial number on it.
Interesting.
I could not tell you. I'm not going to make up a reason, but right there.
Somebody stuff a baffle into it, I guess.
And honestly, what's strange about it is, it's the same thing that I have on my crinks, like the Bulgarian-style flash cans. It's just a flash can.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know why.
Yeah, I had a crank-style brake that was like that. It was 3 pieces. It had that cone baffle. It was basically like a Noveski pig clone.
Yep, that's what I have on my... I've got a PAP with one of them on it, and I've got a Draco with one of them on it. They're the exact same things. You take them apart the same way. So I don't know why the ATF required it, but...
Well, ignore the mess in my office because I just came back from vacation. I just finished this thing up here recently.
By all means, get my ugly mug off your computers.
So you know, while we're doing show and tell, the little short barrel Troy stock SBR setup.
Can someone make him presenter because I can't?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
No problem.
Just still waiting on the.
When we're in the chat, like members of it, we have to click on the individual to see their screen hole. So just click at where he starts up at the bottom, and then they'll get like a white border. And then whenever you don't want to have somebody locked on, just click it again, and the white border goes away.
I've been switching to present to everyone, so we can keep flipping back and forth as we talk, and so we can see the cool toys.
Yeah, that only goes out to the viewers.
Like I said, more than this in my office. I just came back from vacation. It's a disaster zone in here right now. I'm still unpacking from vacation.
Very nice. Which manufacturer is that stock?
It's a Troy.
Okay.
It actually has a kind of a proprietary bolt setup. The bolt carrier is here. I'll pull it down.
Is it one of those ones with the buffer built in?
Yeah.
Nice. There's a company now, shoot, you're going to make me forget their names. It's called the Arc stock if you Google it. And they figured out a way to make one the same style, same length, but you use a standard bolt carrier. It uses a capture.
I mean, really, this short, but with a standard? I don't even.
Yeah,
it's got the little captured thing. Yes, I saw that.
A two-piece spring. Yeah, 2-spring system. Yeah, it's expensive, but it's pretty nice.
Yeah. This thing, it's pretty standard AR-15. Just one little change, and then the comes with the bolt carrier that's got that little captured buffer in it. But then you replace the cam pin so that you can have the side charge. So.
Very nice.
And this thing, I was very surprised. First time out of the range with it, just roughed in a 0, and then I was banging a 10-inch steel at 300 yards with it, with an 8-inch barrel and a 300 blackout.
I mean, my go-to video for people is Gun Website's video he did at the range with, I don't remember whose it was, but you did one on a 7.5-inch, I believe it was, showing how accurate it was. I just send that to people when they question it.
Yeah, that's just my little pistol. It's on the brace dispatch. It's just that same little upper. We just put it on other people's SBR lowers. It doesn't really matter what lower. And that thing will, I can hit out at 5 all the time.
Well, I've got a cool one that I I'm waiting on. I talked to the guy. You guys may have seen it because if you troll YouTube for gun videos as much as I do, there's a guy out there who makes 4.5-inch uppers, and apparently he runs them on his select fires, and they don't hiccup. So I contacted him, and he's making me one right now. I'm wondering how long it's going to take to come back, but he only just has 5.56.
Wow.
Yeah, he runs his company's called oh shoot, I'm sorry about this.
There's no way you stabilize that round past.
I talked to him, and he said that that it's actually not as bad as you think. Obviously you're getting a crap ton of unburnt powder. He actually has gotten it where he has a 2-inch barrel, and you can actually see the bullet sticking out of the chamber. It's just a chamber.
Holy crap!
And it worked too.
Yeah, it works. You're literally shooting right out of the chamber.
It's got kind of a neat little gas thing kind of right above it.
Yeah, so he's making me the 4.5-incher, and I'm going to go ahead and make a YouTube video to see how far I can reach out with that thing accurately. There's the video. Oh, shoot.
People usually come back with what kind of energy can there possibly be when
Put the ballistic gel down range with that.
Yeah, I'll do it because all his videos are just him showing it off with his machine gun. He doesn't show you grouping. He doesn't show you anything. He just goes, look, this is cool.
Oh, it cycles.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's a 5-second video.
Handy shit. So in October I could go see if he's got one up there.
Jeez.
So I ordered that just for giggles, I guess. And if I've got an SPR, let's just go as short as I can. I figured the 2-inch one is just asinine and a waste of money, but the 4.5 just looks awesome.
Very much. No muzzle brake then?
No, I'm probably going to put one on it just to even out the weight. I'm going to probably put a Damage Industries forcing cone on it.
Okay.
Because I figure, shoot, the 7.5s, if you don't have like one of these pigs on it, people complain about it blasting them anyway. I'm only imagining what that thing will do.
I have a surefire brake on mine right now.
You know what I should do is get my decibel meter out and put my Snakehound machine loudener on it and see how loud I can get it.
I was just about to ask if anyone knew what the loudener was, but of course you have one.
Yeah, I've got a few toys. Basically, my story is I'm in my 20s, and I work on computer systems that a lot of people don't know how to work on, and so I have a good salary for my age, and I've been saving up for a house, so I'm going to go ahead and pay cash for my house, and that's why I have crappy furniture.
I am living proof that model works.
Good. Glad to hear it.
I have some very nice
keep
burn
doing it and
trucks
stay
for you.
fresh.
I learned if you learn how to work on HPUX and some very odd versions of Linux, they pay you pretty good.
HPUX have got nothing weirder than Debian, though.
Yeah.
Okay, that and Ford Aerospace Division Linux.
Okay, there you go.
So that's kind of a weird one.
I work in environments that haven't seen outside networks in literally decades. Oh well, good times. But yeah, I'll make some cool. Hopefully, I'll make some cool videos. I'm not very good at the whole YouTube thing, but I figure who cares? Let me just put the guns because that's what people want to see. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. At least I enjoy them, so I'd appreciate it, and I'm sure.
Sure. Oh yeah.
So yeah, I mean, and now that I have this, you guys were talking about the gun channels, but I didn't realize you actually just went in Google Hangouts and stuff. I've been looking for places to hang out and talk guns, so I'll definitely be back. But
we have lobbies almost every night.
Were you saying, John, about having something about short shotguns or? Well, no, suppressors. I thought somebody just had an idea about inviting some people in and talking NFA. That'd be a fun chat to have.
Hey, Eric, show everybody your Keltec.
What's the Keltec?
Well, we're doing gun show and tell, so I figured Eric might want to show us his Keltec.
Oh, by the way, gun websites. I guess that's what I'll call you. Awesome work on the stickers. I ordered 3 of them. They came quick. They're awesome quality. 2 of them are on my truck. So.
Oh, right. I mean, like decals.
Yeah, I got the AR-15 bolt face because everybody and their brother that owns one's got one on their truck. And I like the AK muzzle face, even though everyone at work says it looks like a giant red dong. I don't care.
Why does everybody say that? That's what they said in the like they were saying that in the comments. I'm like, I don't know what your dick looks like, but
does your dick have like iron sight protectors? That's awesome.
But I was thinking I might do it more solid, like the front solid. That would probably make it worse.
You know what I want? You know what I would like is I'll purchase at least 3 of them if you put them up on your site. Do an AK bolt face.
Oh no, I'll do that. I definitely now I have the big plotter, but I've got software more importantly that can run it now. That's decent, and I'm having a lot of fun doing stuff. So yeah, I'll definitely get a better AK bolt face. I have a shitty one now, but I'll do a better one.
Yeah, do an AK bolt face, and I'll buy one to put on because I just slept. My truck is horrible with stickers everywhere. I don't really care. So.
But yeah, anybody in gun channels that wants something custom, well, I mean, you can ask 6. I don't send them out next day. I only pull that thing out and cut because it's free. I only bring it out once in a while. But when I bring it out, I try to cut everything I can. So if anybody wants anything custom, let me know.
Cool.
You only cut when your cat's in the mood, right?
Yeah, exactly. When I got somebody to supervise. No, actually what it is the problem is, well, it takes some amount of effort to drag the shit out, right? Because I don't leave it out. It's huge. But once it's out and connected to the computers and I start cutting, especially now that I got the new software, I don't want to quit. I'm like, oh, I'm going to play with this. And then, I don't know, there's a little bit of learning. I'm not an expert on it or nothing. So I'll come up with a great idea, I think, and then I cut it and I'm like, oh, that made it too tedious or too small or something. So there's tweaking and stuff. But anyway, it just gets too fun. I just don't want to stop doing it. So I have to ration myself how much time I spend on it.
Yeah, I mean, I was happy with my buying experience because half the websites I've bought gun stickers on, it takes 5 weeks to get them. It's ridiculous. And Amazon is selection obviously is horrible.
Well, my thing is I only put stuff on the cart that exists. Not right. This sure. I could.
Yeah.
So by the way, Eric just pinged me. He had to bow out because he has court early in the morning, but wanted me to pass along that he had a good time.
Cool. Right on. Thanks for bringing him in. That was a good chat. Yankee needs to be told he's wrong right away.
Actually, it was. I don't know if anybody saw my.
He told me I was absolutely right.
Yeah, we won't talk about that. That's
ridiculous. Like I said, you were absolutely right for all the wrong reasons.
No, my reasons were even right.
I mean, he
used the correct terminology for a textbook. It's still the right reasons.
David was right on one thing. I thought I remembered it, and I looked it up. There was a few state Supreme Court rulings saying that drinking alcohol is a right. There was one in
afterwards, but I didn't see the point bringing it up.
No, it's cool. I was sitting here still trying to figure out my mic situation, yelling at my wife. So don't worry about it.
And in the articles where it said where the states that had determined that drinking was a protected right, they also, in those cases, it mentioned how several cases have settled out of state because they don't want it to go to a federal court.
Well, hell, if I was a state, I wouldn't want it to either. It just hasn't been fully recognized yet.
Cha-ching, right again for me.
But we'll just tell you that you're wrong.
Well, one thing you definitely can say about Yankee is he's a humble guy. He's a very humble guy.
Yeah, I am. Very humble.
And your viewers are very humble as well.
Most of my viewers are dicks and alcoholics, but still.
He's as humble as your gun collection is boring.
Nice.
Yeah. I've still got a bunch of SIG braces. I'm not sure. Like, I've got builds with SIG braces on them. I'm not sure what to do with.
Oh, obvious. Number one, you got to put one on a SBR and go around shouldering it all around. That's necessary.
That would be awesome.
You can put it on the Glock SBR and shoulder it all over the place.
Yes, I need to do that. I didn't think about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, you could. Next time I have to go to Virginia for a week for work, I'm looking James up.
Yeah. Let me know, man. You've got my YouTube. Just shoot me a PM, and I'll send you my email and all my contact information, and I'll be here I'm serious. If my wife comes out here and yells at me, I apologize and I'll be leaving quickly. So.
So he's also smart.
I live in a small apartment still, so the noise travels. But no, yeah, I come up with crazy, stupid ideas like that. One I did was in New York. Build a we had a buddy. We built an AR looks just like this, obviously legal length, but we just didn't put a gas system in it, and we cemented shut the gas port. and you just carry that thing around. And by just looking at it, you have no idea that it's perfectly legal.
So in other words, like a single shot?
Yeah, it's just a single shot. But if you go to gun protests for the SAFE Act, I'm originally from New York. Thank God I moved out of there. But my friends back home, they've been building those. You have to permanently shut the gas port, or else they can still arrest you because it's easily convertible back. But if you permanently shut that gas port and make it a single shot, you go to a rally and put it over your shoulder, and all the anti-gunners freak because they think you're breaking the law.
Nice.
Wait. So you can actually carry a single shotgun in New York?
Well, it's not semi-automatic. So the assault weapons laws don't cover single shot weapons.
Yeah. But can you wait? Are you telling me that you can openly carry a single shotgun in New York?
The laws are kind of strange. They're county by county, so it depends on where that is. If you go to Buffalo or Albany, I would not recommend it. But there are places in New York that the sheriffs are very pro-gun, and even though it may not be technically according to the books, you can do it.
Well, it's like I know lots of people in New York that have concealed carry licenses because they live in some of those counties, where
Right.
the sheriff actually will show up at your little court date to get your concealed carry license. Tell the judge, give him his license.
Let's put it this way. I had to go back to New York to get my dad's gun collection because the state threatened to confiscate it from my dad. I won't go into details tonight, but I can later if you all are interested. But while I was up there were a lot of people doing protests there, and there were things that I knew were, according to the book, not legal, but even the cops in upstate New York are so fed up with it, they look the other way. It's just it's out of control up there. It's gotten way too far.
I mean, that's cool, but it's also like we don't want to depend on that, because then that just takes
No, I completely I mean, I agree. If I were to do it, I would want to look up what the exact legality was to find a way where you could find a way to carry it in public without worrying about that anywhere to really stick it to them.
So as long as we're speaking of open carry, I actually have a pretty good story about open carry I just heard today. My buddy's a manager at a restaurant, and a guy came in to eat, and he was open carrying, just pistol in the holster, no big deal. And he went up to him and talked to him. He's like, hey, if you don't mind me asking, what are you carrying? Talked for a minute. Turns out this guy's like the creator of Michigan Open Carry. And so he started talking to him, was like, hey, we're having a rally. We're looking for a restaurant to eat at. Do you mind if we have like 40 people come in this Saturday? And he's like, yeah, go ahead. So then he went to his other manager who's like on the fence. She's like, I don't hate guns, but I don't really like them. And he goes, hey,
people buying food.
Yeah, he goes, hey, so you're going to get a call tomorrow reserving a 40 top? And she's like, holy crap, how'd you get that? He goes, I talked to a guy about his gun.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So hopefully that will change her mind. And also, the lunch, I'm assuming no one's going to get shot during it, so maybe she'll see, wow, we have 40 guns in here and nothing bad happened.
We recently had a little open carry rally on a pier in Tampa after the Tampa police harassed one of our members there. And a lady walking off the pier, she had been down at the end of the pier fishing, and she's walking off the pier. She walks through all of us with our guns and everything, and she stopped and she looked dead at one of our members. I was right beside him, and she said, "This has got to be the safest place in America. Bless y'all for coming out." Shook a couple of hands, and then she walked off. And it was a fairly large black lady.
Good deal.
Just out there fishing, and she said, "This has got to be the safest place in America." Shook her hands and said, "Thank you for what you guys are doing for the country," and walked off. Forget the stereotypes, gentlemen. We have friends that walk all possible walks of life.
Yeah, I've been open carrying for many years since I moved down here. I think it can be a great way to spread the message of gun rights, but it's also a pretty easy way to screw things up too.
Yeah, well, you have to be careful in how you do it. This is why we, one, because of the legalities here in Florida, where open carry is generally illegal. But there's some other things that we could do, but we limit it to fishing piers because, well, we're surrounded by sportsmen generally, who are generally going to have less of a problem, and we've never had an issue until last month when a police officer went and harassed one of our members and then tried to trespass them from the actually did trespass them from all the city parks. We got that taken care of, and we filed a lawsuit on it. But that's the first problem we've had since we've been doing this, and we've been doing it since 2010.
I've been open carrying since 2007. I moved down here in 2006, and so far I've gotten a free Glock because of open carrying, and I've been on a documentary in the United Kingdom.
What was the documentary called? Crazy Americans?
No, actually, for a overseas documentary on guns, it was very fair. I didn't like the outcome of it, of course, but it was probably the most. They didn't take anything out of context. They didn't smear me. I went away happy. I actually did it. It's called Tim Shaw on Guns.
Oh, was that one of the ones where they talked to Phil Van Cleave down there?
They interviewed him, but he didn't make the actual documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a VCD.
Okay, it's not the one I'm thinking about. I remember one that aired in the UK that Phil was on.
Yeah, my wife and I were there. They wanted to meet a gun owner, and so they messaged me on a forum that I'm a part of because they found out I open carry. And they came down and we shot for the day, and they followed us around, and they gave me cash, and I bought a gun, and basically the end of it, he was like, we were expecting some redneck crazy guy, and we met an IT nerd and his wife, and it really made an impression on him.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for that. That's exactly what we need.
Yeah, that was my biggest thing, was trying to be a good representative, because I've watched too many of those. It's just horrible because they fall for all these traps. It's just awful.
Yeah, you really, in dealing with the media when it comes to being a gun owner, especially if you're doing something like open carry, you have to be on your game when dealing with media. It's not because they're going to necessarily try and trap you,
right?
But if you do something stupid, they will. That will be what gets airtime.
What I found was really interesting was, and apparently this shows I did a halfway decent job, was all of the crazy questions that I looked really strangely at him for didn't make the documentary because I think we gave valid answers. Like he asked, when you guys get in an argument, do you ever think in the back of your mind about solving the argument with handguns? And both me and my wife were like, no, what are you talking about? And none of that aired the documentary. So my section came across, I think, really well, which I'm pretty happy about.
Dude, that's awesome, because yeah, if they would have taken you and then given you those questions and just, that's a totally different thing than you knowing that they just, like you say, took them out of the running because they just don't apply. I mean, that's like it sounds like you definitely made an effect on them, and then since they're the ones projecting it out to everybody, that's awesome.
I mean, their biggest takeaway for them that blew them away was it took not even 5 minutes for my background check to go through. The state police were on the game that day, thankfully, and that just blew them out of the water. Like that, you watch them go in and we're in the gun store, and I fill out all the forms and do the background check, and then we just walk out. And he's like, "And that's it?" I'm like, "That's it."
Did you need to buy the gun, or did you buy it for the TV show?
Well, I went into it not even expect. I didn't know they were going to pay me. I didn't know that they were going to buy anything. They were just like, hey, I was like, sure, I don't mind being a good advocate because I'm sick of watching other people be horrible advocates. And then, like, the day they showed up, they were like, hey, we want to film you buying a gun. Here's $500 cash. So I signed a bunch of legal paperwork and saying I'm not buying it for them. Obviously, I wanted to make sure it was all legit. And they just filmed me buying a Glock. So
nice.
Yeah, I was like, sure.
$500 Glocks there?
What'd you say?
Not the presses. We have $500 Glocks.
Oh, it was right when Gen 4s came out, and at my local gun store, they were like $4.99 for the Gen 4s.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, right now I can pick up.
If you're paying $500 for a Glock, that's way too much.
I can pick up Gen 3s brand new out of the box at my local gun shop. I think he wanted $425, $430. That was what his Gen 3 price was for brand new.
I paid $459 for my Glock 30S when they first came out.
Yeah.
The only Glock I still have.
Well, gentlemen, it's been a blast talking to you, but I really need to get to bed. It's past midnight my time.
Right on. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining Gun Channel.
Yeah, no problem. Hopefully I'll be back for your next one. And yeah, if anybody wants some info or got any video ideas, they want to see me shoot some of these crazy things in a certain way, just shoot me a PM on YouTube and I'll do it.
Right on. See you next time.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
All right. I think I created an epic.
Hey, Yankee, you're still here?
But I'm not saying it.
I don't know if Yankee's still here, but that rock on his picture, I thought it was a laser engraved rock too, but I think it's just a watermark that he just placed over the rock to make it look good better. So when he comes back, we'll ask him, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is.
Yeah, I noticed that in the picture earlier too. I was like, wow, that's really cool looking. But yeah, I think it's the watermark. But I like the creative placement of watermarks. I know you do that a lot, G-Webs, where you make it look like it's part of the picture instead of just wham up in the corner, standing out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, sometimes that's to make it look cool. Sometimes it's strategic because if it's a cool picture and you put it on the edge, somebody will just crop it out of there. But I kind of like to shove it in there because I think that some of the reposters like them better if they're not trying to, have a brand or a big watermark on them.
Yeah, that's a watermark. That's not a laser engraved rock. I would, however, like a laser engraved rock.
So my gun collection feels very inferior after talking to him for a few minutes.
I think most guys are that way.
Hey, so I ran across a G-Web's video today when doing a little bit of gun research.
Which one?
Weatherby Mark V Ultra Lightweight.
Yikes, I don't remember that one. We were just looking at a gun or something or shooting it?
No, I've got a somebody who's willing to sell one, and I've been looking for a very lightweight rifle, and there is a gun website's video on the Weatherby Mark V Ultra Lightweight.
What caliber are you looking for?
This one's a 308. I've been going back and forth whether I want to do a 308 or a 300 Win Mag. I'm probably going to say,
I think that there might be a 300 Win Mag one at the shop. I can ask him tomorrow. Or do you already have one you found?
Yeah, I have one I found. It's a guy who bought it and still has it in the box. He's never even shot the thing. He was going to do something with it and never wound up doing it. So I think I'm going to be able to buy it from him for about $1,000.
That's a gun law I can get behind. You should be forced to shoot the guns you buy. It's such a waste to buy something cool and not shoot it.
Hold on. So then is somebody going to pay us for all the time it would take to accomplish that? That's a pretty monumental task for some people.
I think the government can subsidize that. Yeah.
All right, then I'm going to get behind that. The federal government should be doing that.
Yeah.
I feel like it's my right that somebody else should be paying for my ammo.
I was telling a buddy of mine earlier today. He's a prior service Marine, and we were talking about some of the guns that we've been shooting lately, doing long range stuff, and he's building up a 340 Weatherby mag. It's like $7 a round retail for that ammo. But
for what do you hunt with that in Florida? Or is that's for going someplace else?
He teaches long range shooting. This is his 2-mile gun. But it was a whole lot easier when the taxpayers were paying for our ammo.
I don't know if it's built all the way, Foos.
Oh, to create.
That link you had should have been the one to do it. That link that you put in here.
Yeah, because I went out there, and I went down and I saved it and built it out, and I'm not seeing it. So. Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to create an Epic's chat channel, and all the awesome ones like tonight we're going to stick on there.
That's good because I just asked everybody who has been doing lobbies to post them, and Moon posted a bunch that are crazy epic from back in like last year. So this should be easy to find them too. Because the lobby archives is growing pretty big. We'll be able to handpick them out of there and then move them over so people can find just the ones that we still refer to after all this time.
And want to keep it pretty vague, but create. When I do create, so you need to have a main photo and description on it.
Oh, I probably have to fill out all the blanks.
Yeah.
Man, we've been getting a lot of cool new Gun Channels members this week.
We have, definitely.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my little Gun Channels PVC morale tab.
Those went out the day they came in. They came out like 3 hours after I got them. So that one, I don't know how long it takes to get to Florida, but I'd be surprised if we don't have it tomorrow.
Oh, cool.
Can't take that long. We don't have a post office in Tucson anymore, so even if the mail gets in, it has to go to Phoenix. But I think Moon got something like I put it in the mail one day, and he got it the day, not the next day, but the day after that. He's in Pennsylvania. I don't know. There might have been weather. I don't know. I haven't seen any pictures yet, so I don't think anybody got one today yet.
Well, you should feel honored. I don't have any morale patches, so this is my first actual purchase of a morale patch.
Right on. Appreciate it. We definitely didn't get a lot of those made, so if any of them are going to be worth something, those will be it.
Yeah.
First ones we had
It's a collector's item.
And I went out there to be a part of that Kickstarter, and evidently I didn't hit submit or something like that, and yeah, I'm kicking myself in the ass, but oh well.
I guess now I just need like a fat guy plate carrier or something to wear it on.
I usually stick them in my car, like in the headliner. I like putting them there, and then I have patch panels, of course, just hanging on the wall.
Yeah, that's what I do with my patches too.
I put Arizona flags on my bags, but it's just so that I can tell my bag from if I put it down in a range or something next to somebody else's bag. I don't like to put too much shit on my bag. I like looking at my patches, but I like them a lot more on a patch panel, just on a square piece where I can see them all.
Oh, let's see. Okay, so I've got a York Armory one that came with a lower. and I've got a Rainier Arms PVC one. You know, their big paw print thing, and they're just stuck to the inside of one of my range bags that has a Velcro panel.
Oh, another option people do with them is depending on what material your safe is made out of, the inside door of your safe, sometimes people put patches up in there. I ended up sticking like a what do you call it? Like, what do you call the fur? Not a pelt. I guess it is a pelt. I put up skin though in my door, and then I just have patches like around it. But mostly I put pins in my door. You get those little pins at SHOT Show or whatever, like hat pins. I don't wear hats, so I stick them in my safe door. But I can also stick patches on the what is that, fabric or whatever it is.
Yeah, I'm looking for a new safe right now because the one that I have, I really don't feel like it's very much better than a locking filing cabinet, and it's way too small for everything I've got. When I went on vacation here last week, went down to the Keys, spent a week down there. It was great, but I just did not feel. Well, one, I didn't have enough room in my safe for all of my guns, and two, I didn't feel comfortable with them in there, so I brought them over to my father-in-law, and he put them in his safe. So I have got to get the good safe just so that I don't have to go through this whole rigmarole next time I go on vacation.
I'm actually in the market for a safe. Do you guys have any suggestions? So I don't have one now, and I think I should probably get one now that I have a couple extra guns.
Big. Buy big.
Yeah. My mistake is the one that I have is way too small.
Yeah. Well,
I started out with those lockers you buy at whatever the big box stores, like just a metal stack-on kind of box thing, metal, like nothing more than a toolbox, just in the shape of a gun box, so you can put guns in your closet or whatever. When I was renting and stuff, but then at some point, like Sean was saying, you leave and you're just leaving too much value sitting out. So at some point, I was like, well, I can buy a gun or I can make that decision already. And then I honestly don't even remember anymore. It might have been Y2K or something that I was like, it's time that this time it's not a gun. Whatever your schedule is for buying a new gun, this time it's not a gun. Or if you're really thinking ahead and you really plan on getting some guns, like Fu said, you cannot buy a big enough safe. Trust me, there's no possible way to buy a big enough safe. So maybe what I'm getting at is wait for 2 guns worth of purchase and then buy a decent safe. I personally like Fort Knox because they're everything from the steel to the transportation to your door is U.S. Nothing about that safe is China. The best you'll get in other brands is Mexico steel, sometimes assembled Mexico and then finished here. But most of them, especially if you go to a big box store, that's Chinese metal, Chinese paint, Chinese labor, Chinese transportation, and big box store owned by some corporation that is a little. I don't feel like putting that kind of money into that is. I'd rather put it in the U.S.
Right. And not to mention, you're going to be able to put your important papers in there, the deed to your, not deed, but title to your car and stuff like that. Stuff that's harder to replace. And look, I have insurance. I'm not worried about the monetary value of my guns as much if I'm on vacation and someone steals them. I'm worried about a thief breaking in and having access to some fairly significant firepower.
Yep.
I got stuff that ain't worth nothing. I got Saturday Night Specials that ain't worth nothing to most people, but I cannot replace them because they only need a certain amount, and they don't, they're not around. So it's more than just value. To me, it's irreplaceableness of stuff, and that doesn't have to be guns. I mean, it is guns, but it can be other things, I guess, jewelry or whatever else will fit in there. So bigger the better, because you start putting in pictures in there, you put a backup hard drive in there, with data or pictures or something. If you've got family pictures and stuff, real pictures, like those go in there, family pictures that you've accumulated from other family members, you start putting all that stuff in there and you need as much room as you can get.
Yeah, I mean, I've only got one gun that's really kind of an irreplaceable one as far as sentimental value goes.
And then the concept of you're going to buy a box of size your refrigerator or so, that you're going to take and you're going to go around your house and you're going to accumulate everything that's of value to you, and you're going to put it in that refrigerator-sized box. So do you want that to be the cheapest box you can buy, or do you want that to be the box that is designed to keep people out of the box and fire out of the box?
Right. Well,
So
and then, of course,
kind of
there's
purchase
the
you make.
NFA items and all the headache that would come from having an NFA item stolen.
That's actually a really good idea. I should just get a refrigerator box and put it in there. No thief's going to be like, oh, I'm going to steal this refrigerator. They wouldn't even look in there.
There's some interesting out of sight, out of mind kind of places to keep firearms that are, I would suggest, as secure, because like you say, if you're not looking for it, you're not finding it. So
very true.
I don't know if I would rely on that only, especially if you're away for a while, but everybody's got different circumstances, so.
Yeah, no, I was just kidding on that one, but yeah, I do like the tactical wall kind of thing. I thought that was a pretty cool product.
Yeah, there you go. There's a lot of those.
But I don't know. Yeah, I'm hoping to get a pretty good quality one, just because I know my parents were talking about maybe just like giving me money as a gift, like for Christmas or birthday or whatever, and just saying, okay, this money goes towards your safe.
Are they adopting?
Would they like, to adopt a 41-year-old fat guy?
If that means you'd be my brother and I get to play with your toys, because we share in this family. So what's yours is mine. Then yeah, I'll give them your number and you guys can work it out.
Apparently, you've seen my backdrop wall.
Yeah, you were on. You did show us a gun, and we could see, what was behind you.
Actually, there's a couple missing from that wall. I haven't completely unpacked from being on vacation.
Yeah, well, I've seen you in other times.
Which is why my office is a complete wreck. I mean, it's kind of freaking me out actually how bad my office is right now from unpacking and packing.
Oh man. So I know I need to get to bed, but if you guys want to keep going, I'll keep this going. If we want to wrap it up, we could wrap it up and start a new one. So that the chat won't be, a lot of fluff after.
Well, that's probably a good way to think about it. So is anybody out there interested in running a lobby? There'll be a little bit of lag. Anybody in here want to run a lobby? But once you do that, close it, because that was freaking epic, dude. And
yeah.
Might as well keep that kind of sectionalized. It's only 9 o'clock here, so I'm sure somebody will pick one up.
All right. Yeah, I'm stopping now.
Thanks, bro.